Hello, my friends. Thanks everyone for the greetings and support. By the way, let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in me sharing some maybe personal stuff at the end of the video occasionally. Okay. Now let's get right to the most interesting part. Alexei Navalny has been found. For nearly 3 weeks, his associates and family were searching for the imprisoned Russian opposition leader. And after 19 days of disappearance, they found him in Penal Colony No. 3, Polar Wolf, located in the town of Harb in the Yamalo-Nenetsky Autonomous Okrug. His associate, Leonid Volkov, shared this information.
We searched and found. Alexei is alive, he is fine. That's where the good news ends. It is in the village of Karp in the Yamalo-Nenets Autonomous Okrug, beyond the Arctic Circle. It is almost impossible to get to this colony, it is almost impossible even to send letters there. This is the highest possible level of isolation from the world, which is what it was all about.
Navalny's colleague, Ivan Zhdanov, reported that Navalny's associates sent 618 requests, and the lawyers searched every detention facility, sometimes multiple times, to find Navalny.
It is very difficult to get there, and there are no letter delivery systems of the Federal Penitentiary Service or Zona Telecom. The lawyer was there today. He saw Alexei. The lawyer was also not allowed in immediately.
Alexei Navalny disappeared from the penal colony on December 6th. The opposition leader's lawyers were told by the staff of Penal Colony No. 6, where he was previously held, that he was no longer listed with them. Political aides expected him to be transferred to a strict regime prison after an extension of his sentence. However, the lawyers checked this information with another high-security penal colony, and Navalny wasn't there either. Navalny's supporters believe that these events are unfolding due to the upcoming elections in Russia. Since Putin sees Navalny as a competitor and enemy, moving him to a prison beyond the Arctic Circle seems like an attempt to isolate and suppress him. Now, let's turn our attention to the situation in Kherson. The Russians continue to shell the supply routes of the Ukrainian forces on the left bank. Simultaneously, assaults on Ukrainian positions in the village of Krynky persist. Examining the situation closely, it's evident that the occupiers shell the village and then storm the positions. Whether they can hold this foothold is a significant question today, because previously they failed to significantly expand it to create a secure zone. Now the Russians have concentrated all their forces on this small front about 3 kilometers wide. As of yesterday evening, the Russians reported that, as before, they were unable to push back the Ukrainian forces, and there is no air support.
According to the situation in the evening of December 26-23 in the area of Krynky, no change. There are counter-battles, the enemy is making sorties in all directions. There are requests from our units for air support, but as we were told from the aerospace forces, there will be no support yet. We will always work for the sake of Russia, for the good of Russia, and we will fulfill our duty to the end.
Meanwhile, on the Zaporizhzhia front, the Russians are increasing the number of attacks and launching offensives in 2 directions, Robotine and the area around Verbove. Over the past day, the Ukrainian forces successfully repelled 4 Russian attacks, and the front line remains unchanged. Additionally, shelling continues across the entire front line. In the Vuhledar direction, all attacks near Staromayorsk were unsuccessful. Therefore, today the Russians are only continuing shelling across the entire front line and there are no changes. In the Avdiivka direction, there are difficulties. Occupiers continue their assaults in the Novobakhmutivka area and have resumed attacks near the coking chemical plant. The situation is complex. They are making every effort to capture the plant to completely cut off the road used for reinforcements to Avdiivka. So far, the Ukrainian forces are holding their defense, but there have been about 10 attacks in the past day. Battles are ongoing in the industrial zone as well, but despite all Russian breakthroughs on the outskirts of the city, the Ukrainian forces are preventing them from establishing a foothold. On the southern flank, the situation remains unchanged, with ongoing battles for Pervomayske and Nevelske, all without success. Further south, 2 days after Shoigu's statement about capturing Marinka, Zaluzhny responded to journalists' questions about the situation with this settlement.
Це наша, знову ж таки, офіційна позиція, те ж саме, що я і казав і Юлії, про те, що ми захищаємо кожний клаптик нашої землі. Кожний клаптик. Але коли на цьому вузенькому клаптику ворожі снаряди починають перекапувати це місце разом з камнем, із землею, з нашими бійцями, життя наших бійців нам важливіше. Тому Марянка, яка трималася майже, можна так сказати, 2 роки, спочатку вулиця за вулиця, потім будинок за будинок, станом на сьогоднішній день наші війська ще знаходяться у північній його частині. Наші війська підготували оборонний рубіж поза цим населеним пунктом, але я можу сказати, що цього населеного пункту вже не існує. Методика абсолютно така ж сама, як була в Бахмуті. Знищується вулиця за вулицею, квартал за квартал, закопуються наші бійці. І після цього маємо те, що маємо. Тому, знову ж таки, це війна. І те, що ми зараз відійшли на околицю Мар'їнки, а в деяких місцях вже обладнали позиції за Мар'їнкою, мені кажеться, в цьому нема нічого такого, що може там визвати якийсь там суспільний резонанс. Скажімо так, війна. На жаль, вона така.
Now the occupiers are attempting to regroup, conducting artillery preparation to move further. In the Bakhmut direction, on the southern flank, the Russians suffered significant losses and started regrouping. As of the time of creating this video, there is no information about offensive actions. On the southern flank, on the contrary, attacks on Klishchiivka and Andriivka have resumed, accompanied by a large number of shelling. But there have been no changes in the past day. In the Siversk direction, the Russians continue their advances in the area of the village of Vesele and don't cease shelling along the front line. They haven't achieved success, but the battles persist, so we'll be keeping an eye on developments. Fights for positions in the forest near Krynky are also ongoing. The occupiers are attempting to push the front line as far as possible from Krynky, but they haven't made significant progress. The Ukrainian forces repel all attacks and the front line remains unchanged over the past day. In the direction of Svatove, the situation is stable. Attacks have ceased and there is a minimal number of shelling incidents in the frontline towns. In the Kupiansk direction, there is an intensification of Russian activity. Apart from the assaults on Synkivka, attacks on Petropavlivka have resumed. Over the past day, the front line remains unchanged. And that's all for me. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest news. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.